What if I told you that you not wanting to react to your emotions is exactly why you're led by them? You have an argument and words fall one after another, but then something's being said from the other person close to you that triggers something, and you say things that you regret right away. But this is actually quite normal. Emotions come up very fast, they can boil from one point to the other. But this is something that will happen no matter what. So reactivity to emotions is anything but a character flaw. This is what I believed for most of the time, that I just have some flaws in my character. I once had an argument with my mother, and while our past is rather complicated, I still love her, but when the moment heated up, she said things and triggered things inside of me that aren't her fault. My emotions pent up immediately, I could feel it, and I said things that I regret right away. But this is simply because there's practice that needs to be done, there's training that needs to be done. I see it like in the gym. Imagine this: a dude just comes over and gives you 100 kilograms and tells you to bench that out of nowhere. This is basically your emotions boiling up from one point to the other. Your body might be capable of lifting 50 kilograms, 60. It's not that you are weak, it's just that you aren't ready to be capable of lifting that 100 kilograms. So it's all about practicing to get to the point where you can actually lift that weight, handle that weight. However, even though I tried to stay calm in the other arguments we had, it never worked. I still kept on failing. I reacted to what's being said and always said things and reacted in ways that I would immediately regret. But things started to change when I realized that emotions are like a river. A river keeps flowing, and emotions can come up like a river. The problem is, however, that the current can change. Sometimes the river is pretty calm, and even if you try to swim in it, it's pretty fine. However, if the current starts to become really strong, you're going to be pulled by the river, and whatever happens to be the current is what you will do. You will be led by them. Those are your emotions boiling up. So, what we need to learn, however, then, is to be able to just pull ourselves out of the current, look at that for a moment, and see that the river is right now having a really strong current, but we do not need to be led by that. The surprising thing about this metaphor is that all you need not to react to your emotions is a branch to pull yourself out of the river. It's nothing to do with being strong enough to swim against the current. It won't work. And even if it does, you become strong, you will have moments where you still fail. But that, of course, begs the question, how do we do that? The first skill that we need to acquire is to become emotionally aware. The practice that I use for this is to do a meditation practice about emotional awareness. Now, here's what you need to do with this practice. When you do realize that there are feelings inside of you, instead of trying to fix them, the only thing you need to do is to label them, understand what emotion is that you are feeling right now, and to then let it be. Just accept it. Feel what it is. Feel that it's okay that you are staying with this feeling right now, and just accept it. Because this is what allows you to finally be okay and realize, understand that the river is getting a different current and you don't need to be pulled by it. In order to do that, you need to realize that the current is becoming stronger. The second step is basically my favorite, and I would call it simply the pause. You become aware of the moment that you are being triggered, something boils up inside of you. But instead of reacting to it, look away from the person you are having an argument with. We as humans, we are very reactive to what the other's body language is, what they feel. We can receive emotions. So look away. In that moment, take a physiological sigh. A physiological sigh is done by having 2 breaths in through your nose in a row, twice in a row, and then breathe out through your mouth. So twice through your nose, once a bit shorter, once a bit longer. And then breathe out. This gives you a moment of silence, a moment for you to pull yourself out of the current. But not only that, you will also pull out the other person from their current. Just like anybody else, the other person is also reactive to emotions. But if you manage to slow down your current, the other person also has the chance to slow down theirs. So that moment of silence is not only good for you, but also the other person. But it isn't just the tone that changes, it's everything. The outcomes of practicing this, and especially in arguments, is remarkable. I've come to have much better arguments, so to speak. They don't escalate and go to places where they shouldn't go. I don't say things that I regret right away afterwards. And the moment of silence actually allows me to think and try to see it from the other person's perspective. I can ask questions about why the other person feels that way. Maybe even ask the question if they actually feel that way, or if that was just them being pulled by their emotions, by the river, so to speak. You will have much more respect not only for yourself, but others will keep their respect for you, because you didn't just spout things that you don't actually mean. More often than not, when we have these situations and we get pulled by the river, we say things that we regret right away, and they aren't what we mean and feel. Once you understand that emotional control is all about practice, it's going to be your superpower. Your relationships are going to become stronger and better, and you're going to feel much more proud about yourself. But this is only the starting point. There are so many more things about your own emotions and how you can control yourself that we need to talk about. And if you think that is going to help you, you should consider subscribing so that you will not be pulled by the river's current. And until then, I wish you a good one. Take care. Take a pause. And don't react to your emotions. Goodbye.